this message this morning that somebody's not telling you the full story. So you're dealing with somebody who's not being completely up front with you at this time. So I'm going to look into that for you, and hope you're having a great week, by the way. So this is Tammy with Spot On Psychic Readings, and I appreciate you all stopping in today. So what is going on here? Why is somebody not being upfront with you? The first card we've got here is the Star. Okay, Star of Hope. This could be somebody who's in the limelight, somebody who people know, either from social media or even in the news. This could be someone, you know, as much as a celebrity, kind of looking to see who this person is, or you are. Or maybe you are, and there's somebody who's just not being completely honest with you at this time. Let's see. These are new cards and they're stiff. Let's see. This person, here's the Sun. Okay, this is your crossing card at this time with this person. And there's something here about they're envious of your happiness. Look at this. I forgot this deck has blank cards in it. Yeah. This is what they're giving you. Crickets. They're not responding. There's something here, I feel like there's a lack of response. I feel like you're waiting on a happy response from them. You're like, what is going on with this person? I feel like, I said happy because I feel like a lot of you don't even know that this person is having issues with you for some reason. They shouldn't be. I'm not feeling like they should, but there's something going on here about they don't want to share the limelight with you. That's what I'm getting. So we have got the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like you're like, should I move on? You know, the Seven of Pentacles is like, should I just move on from this situation? Maybe this is not the right course of action. It's something maybe you wanted for a long time, and now you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this just isn't the right thing. Yeah, and we've got Two of Swords here. There's something here they're not telling you. And I feel like you're moving on, and there's this tug of war though. Like there's this tension under the surface, and something that they're not sharing with you at this time. I'm going to go back and clarify this blank card in a minute, and we'll get more on that, okay? So we've got Ace of Cups. Okay, and this is going into your past, guys. So I feel like there's something here where there was something that you just were going to love, and you were prepared to put a lot of effort into this, whether it was a project or a new relationship. Somebody didn't give you all the details. Somebody gave you this, right? So you were all happy about it. I feel like you were ready to do something that may have put you into the limelight based on the Star and based on the Sun. But this person, I feel like, created a lot of tension, a whole lot of tension, and now you're like, should I move on? I feel like the love is gone. Whatever, or the love you had for this project initially is like kind of moving into the past at this time. I feel like there's a loss of interest on your side of things for this. I feel like you're losing interest and definitely feeling betrayed. There's a definite sense of discontent and betrayal. I mean, I'm just feeling like this Five of Cups. I mean, I feel like somebody took advantage of you. I feel like whoever this person is, they really took advantage. Oh, there's jealousy, all right. Look at this Three of Cups. This is coming up in your immediate future. Now, this can be a celebration. Two different ways to look at this, so we'll see. I'll get you some clarification on this, okay? This person's seeing you as the Fool at this time. I'll have to clarify this for sure, but they kind of see you going on a different journey or going in a different direction. They're also seeing you with this little white dog. next to your side, like Chippy over here. They think you're going down a whole new path. They see you facing away from them. Like you've turned your back on them is what I mean. I get the sense they're not happy about this. We're going to dig deep on this, guys, so hang in there. Let me get the details on this. And we've got the Six of Cups. This is in your hopes and fears position. And this is like thinking about the past, thinking about what could have been. You know, we got this Ace of Cups going into the past. This is someone or some situation that you felt a lot of love and happiness about, and now I feel like you've walked away from it. You're having to reconsider, do you really want to nurture that? You know, with the Seven of Pentacles in your mind at this time, I think a lot of you are reconsidering things you weren't informed about, things you weren't told, okay, with this blank slate about this thing that you wanted to nurture, whether it was a relationship or a situation, because it's not clearly in the cards a relationship. It could definitely be a situation that you thought you were going to really love, and then somebody didn't give you all the information. There were important facts and nuances that were not discussed, that were not clearly put out there in the beginning, is what I'm getting. Your final outcome here is the Five of Swords, guys. I feel like somebody here, you in particular, I feel like there's a lot of dissension in this picture. You know, with this, you know, Five of Swords is negative energy. And I feel like somebody's out to hurt your reputation at this time. And I forgot to say, this is a collective reading, so this is for anybody, you know, who's watching at this time. If you're finding this, this message is for you, for sure. So let's go back and get you some more details here. I'm clarifying the Star. Yeah, there was some kind of Knight of Cups. Somebody saw you in the limelight and made you some sort of an offer. Okay, Knight of Cups, an offer that I think you loved. This could be a love offer. This could have been a relationship. Somebody coming in and saying, I've been watching you for a long time. I've had my eye on you. And could we, you know, go out? Could we meet? Could we talk? Things like that. Again, you weren't given all the details, so hold on there. I mean, it looks good at first, right? But then the Sun card is in the crossing position. It started to get a little dampened, a little cloudy with this Sun, even though the Sun's always a really good card. And it came up with somebody who moved too slow on something. There's a real slowdown of energy, which caused this crossing card to come up. Crossing card meaning something that's a challenge for you at this time. It looks like you decided to do something different. I see you kind of starting to turn your back on this thing or this person and deciding to do something else. Yeah, death. So the thing that wasn't disclosed had to do with endings and new beginnings. This person, if this was a relationship for you, this person may have still been in a relationship and it hadn't ended yet, or they're in the process of like getting divorced, and you know, there's a lot of entanglements, and you're like, I'm not sure I want to go there. And there's a lot, I feel like this person didn't tell you about it, you know, with this blank card here. Also, this can have to do with Scorpio energy, you know, with the Death card, represents Scorpio. You know, at the foundation of this, there's a Five of Pentacles. So I feel like you're thinking about doing something new because you feel like you lost something. There's a feeling of loss. There's a feeling of being left out in the cold at this time because somebody just didn't give you all the details. And what didn't they tell you? They didn't tell you something about love, something about their heart. Here it is again. Ace of Cups has come up twice now in two different positions in this reading. This was something where you started to really fall in love. You started to really open your heart. And again, this it sounds like a relationship, and it probably is for a lot of you. For some of you, it's about a situation. Maybe it was a job that you started to go, oh, I'd really like to have that job, or I'd really like to buy that house. You know, things like that. And then here it is. You didn't get all the details. You felt really left out in the cold, and you moved on. A lot of you moved on with the Seven of Pentacles. You're like, I'll just focus on something else. I'll put my heart into something else. I mean, because these cards represent your heart, you know? And I feel like this person created so much tension that you removed your heart energy from it. There's a real sense of feeling betrayed when we in the immediate future, and this is coming up in your immediate future. So if you may not have hit this yet, this part of it, okay? You may be wondering what's happening, but I think you're going to feel some sort of betrayal or are at this time, you know, in the next week. Wow, yeah. And guys, it's clarified by the Five of Cups. There's definitely somebody has really betrayed you. I feel like there's going to be sadness and grieving over something, but don't despair, because the next card up is this Three of Cups. Now, this can kind of represent some jealousy that I think started some of this, but let's clarify it. It can also be a celebration. Yeah, it's winning. Whew, okay, I need to really dig in and clarify this. Okay, so this is showing definitely celebration in your more extended future, which would be a week to a month, because I read for you all weekly, okay? So, and again, this is any sign. There's some sort of a win, some sort of a victory coming up in your more extended future. What is it? Let's ask. What is it? What is it? And it may involve 3 females or 3 sisters for some of you. 3 women. Oh, and things coming together. There we go. This is really good. So for all the things I mentioned, a job, buying a house, you know, things that weren't stated clearly, which might go to a contract or a love relationship, as we're seeing over here. Got the goosebumps on this. This is this is saying things are coming together. Okay, this is 2 things coming together, meeting in the middle, an agreement, okay? And it could be a feeling of love. It can be accepting a love offer, which we saw first thing up. We saw this Knight of Cups clarifying you being the star. Yeah, that's really, really good news. And there could be 3 parties involved in this in some way. Okay? But there's an agreement with the 3 parties. There's an agreement and winning. Look at this victory card. Yeah, this is really good. So even if you weren't told the whole information, and there's definitely something here you're not being told. What is it you weren't being told? Let me ask that one more time, and then I'll clarify the rest of it. Somebody was definitely holding back on information. Here's 4 of Pentacles. They were holding back. They weren't telling you the full story. With, you know, that's a card of holding on, maybe about money. This could be somebody young and inexperienced. We've got Page of Pentacles. This is somebody green. Okay, and not green like St. Patrick's Day, which was yesterday, you guys. But this is definitely, and happy belated St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate it. So there's something here about this person being green, like new at something, like a newbie. They were a newbie. They're still learning, and I feel like they really screwed up. There's something here where they screwed up, and they didn't tell you all the information. This could be a younger person in a love relationship. This could be a student, literally a student. Teachers. This could represent school teachers, students, school situations, and lovers, you know. So we're clarifying the Fool. This person thinks you have a lot of money. Did you know that? This person thinks that you're either trying to build money with this 10 of Pentacles, or trying to impress people, or I don't know, and they may or may not be right, but I feel like the part about impressing people is way off. I don't feel like you entered into this, most of you not anyway, to impress somebody. I think this was from your heart. I mean, Ace of Cups came up twice. I feel like you entered into this contract either to buy a house or get a new job, or whatever it was, you entered into some sort of a agreement, whether it was a written contract or a love agreement, and you didn't get all the details. And I think that, you know, this person's thinking you're moving on because they didn't give you all the details. It's just that clear. I feel like we've got a really experienced person and a newbie over here, and I think that's some of the problem for some of you for sure. Yeah, and right next to that we've got Six of Cups. Okay, so this can have to do with children also, but it can also have to do with things from the past. This is and this could be a lover from the past returning for some of you. Yeah, there's the Lover's card. Okay, so yeah, for some of you, this is definitely a person from the past. All right, and it's in your hopes and fears. This is something you wanted, but then also not. And now you're not getting all the details. Now they're not telling you all the information. I mean, literally, I was feeling that before I even picked up the cards, and I've lost the blank card. Of course, it's there. See, they don't want you to see this. They don't want you to realize, oh, we omitted a few things here. Yeah. So, in a love relationship, there are things they didn't tell you. If you were trying to buy a house, they might have forgotten to tell you the basement leaks. Things like that. Things were omitted. All right. So let's see, why the tension? Why the Five of Swords as the final? Is the Page of Swords? They're watching you, and I feel like for some of you, there's something about a reputation being ruined, or somebody's attacking you in some way. They're watching you. I feel like they're watching you on social media. That's common. This card comes up all the time because that's like so common, as you know. Let's look at this for a second, guys. These are my love and relationship cards. I don't use these very often, but I think this warrants it. I want to know, what would this person tell you? Whoever this person is for you, what is it they're omitting? What is it they forgot to tell you? There's something about old school, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over and over. These are like broken tapes. I feel like this person learned the wrong way of doing something, or they had a bad mentor, or a bad example of relationships when they were growing up, or something like that. And something here, it's like they have some kind of old belief system that plays into this. Maybe something that said, oh, don't tell them how you're feeling, because if you do, they'll lose interest. Play hard to get. Something like that, you know what I mean? What else would they tell you? Well, they're busy out partying. Some of these people are busy out partying with friends, okay? And this is what they omitted. Like, we're still happy being single over here. This is some of it. And I think this is some of why you're feeling some betrayal here. Now this has come to the surface, and it's not pretty. I want to go back. Hold on a minute, because I'm going to ask a little more about your victory, okay? The last thing this person would say to you is they're heartbroken. All right. Heartbroken, deeply hurt and sad, feeling lost, grieving and despair over a breakup. This is, for some of you, this is definitely someone from the past. Yeah, it definitely is. And they just didn't want to tell you they still wanted to be single. And then they had this whole, I don't know, some how we have old parent tapes, or even old school teacher tapes, whatever, old friend, whatever. You remember people saying things and you're like, I don't know if I believe that anymore. Some of us learn and grow and evolve. We get past these old things that don't work anymore. And then some people don't. And I feel like this person's still stuck in this old way of doing things, maybe partying, maybe their dad said, oh, you better stay single as long as you can. Those women, something like that. Something like that is what I'm hearing. And it was not a good influence, in whatever situation this is. So let's look into your victory real quick before I go. I hope you're enjoying this. I just really felt like this was what I needed to look into today, was all about this, what they're not telling you, because there are omissions in this story for you, and I know you're feeling it, and you're feeling betrayed by it. I mean, there's Five of Cups that came up twice in your immediate future, and you may now just be finding out, like, yeah, I kind of forgot to tell you about this really big elephant in the room kind of thing, But what's your celebration? Page of Cups. This is a message. It's funny when cards do things like that, like practically jump out of my hands. You might be really excited about this message of love. I was getting ready to say this is a message of love coming up in your more extended future. So first there's going to be a feeling of sadness, and then it's like excitement over some sort of message of love. And here's Seven of Pentacles again. This is about you deciding to nurture something new, to grow something new, to put your focus on what you had intended in the first place before you found out you didn't know all the details. Okay? And again, it can be a job, it can be a person, it can be a relationship or a situationship. Okay? And here's Five of Swords again. Yeah, there's been some real harsh words, some real tension going on. Here it is again. And it is around this victory. Why is it showing up around the victory? Why is it showing up around the victory? King of Cups. Now, he can be secretive, but also he can be healing. And it depends on, I don't think this is the person who didn't tell you everything, unless they've really changed, which they could, But King of Cups is somebody who's sometimes a father, sometimes very, very loving, very nurturing, kind of masculine energy. Very intuitive. Take it as it resonates. It could be a Queen of Cups. But this is somebody with a lot of healing and nurturing energy, and it's somebody from the past. Somebody from the past that's coming back around to talk to you. You're going to be getting a message, guys. I think there's still some negative energy over them not telling you everything. There was a lot that was held back, and you definitely either went through or are going to be feeling, or are at this time feeling betrayed. Five of Cups, sadness, grieving. You're like, I just didn't get all the details. I mean, here's your blank card again. Just didn't get all the details. I didn't know what I was getting into. And there's a lot going on here, but it ends well. Let's look one more time. This final outcome. We do have some Five of Swords. There's still some hurt feelings going on here. And Seven of Swords. Yeah, this person's still not going to tell you everything. So I think you're going to be happy at first to hear from them again, and you may win. I mean, just hearing, it may be you don't want any kind of reconciliation, or you don't want to still proceed with buying that house or whatever, the thing is that for this reading. But there's still some satisfaction in hearing from this person, right? You're like, yeah, they didn't tell me everything, and they're coming in with still not all the information, being the Seven of Swords. So you still can't trust this person, and I think you already know that, but you needed to hear it because they didn't tell you all the information, and they're still not going to tell you all the information. They're watching you online. They're wondering what your next move is because they know you've turned your back on them. And they're like, well, what did they do? what did the person watching this, what are they doing now? What did they do when I made this offer again and they didn't answer, or they blocked me, or whatever? Because they're still not going to tell you everything. Seven of Swords is a sneaky link. Okay, so I want to say buyer beware, lover beware. Yeah, this person's never going to be like totally upfront with you. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for coming in today, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye now.